Week 8 is upon us. Season flying by. We've got our 6-pack of favorite games for week number 8 and that Thursday nighter Bucks at Bills preview. Making picks today on Peacock and Williamson.
NFL analyst Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson bring you expert NFL analysis every day in less than 30 minutes. Get an inside look into the NFL on the field and in the front office. With elite breakdowns, next-level analysis, and in-depth information only for the real NFL fans. This is Peacock and Williamson, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Peacock and Williamson NFL Show. Brian Peacock alongside Matt Williamson at BD Peacock at Williamson NFL. Thanks to everybody for making us your first listen here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Big ups to all the everydayers out there. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube and everywhere you get your podcast. Today's episode of P&W brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code, all lowercase, LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, some good ones in the 6-pack. We've got a rookie showdown. Pick 1 and 2 quarterbacks, Stroud versus Young. Could this be the end for Derrick Henry with the Tennessee Titans? And they're developing their own rookie quarterback, it looks like, potentially in week number 8. I want to start, though, with the throwback from yesterday's mailbag. And we're going to go to the Rams at the Dallas Cowboys. And it is the Cowboys favored by 6.5, hosting those Los Angeles Rams, Matt. But a real quick question first before we get into making a pick for this game. And JDS asked us yesterday, how would you rank Puka Nacua as a fantasy asset going forward and possibly into future years? And he's been obviously so impressive. I mean, not only is he lapping the field of rookie receivers, I mean, he's been among the most productive receivers, period, in the NFL his rookie season this year with the Rams, Matt.
Yeah, so a couple things is Ryan McDowell and I on Locked On Dynasty did a whole show on him like 2 weeks ago, and I urge you to go check it out, but we sold him short. He's better than we thought of him then. That was like before Cup came back.
I tried to trade him. I tried to trade him that week before Cup came back. No takers, and I'm glad I didn't because I already had Cup too. I'm starting Cup and Nacua every single week. I wouldn't dream of taking Puka Nacua out of the lineup right now.
No, exactly. I think that's 100% true. I think both those players, no fault of their own, benefit a great deal from Sean McVay's brilliance. Okay, so what? It doesn't matter. They're still both really good at what they do, and he gets the most out of them. I did so much Rams homework because they just played the Steelers. Real quick, the Steelers' entire game plan to me was don't let Aaron Donald or Cooper Kupp beat you. So they went out of their way to do everything to slow down Kupp, and he still had 2 drops. He could have had a better line. He would have probably ended up with like 60 yards, but still it was like a very slow day for him. So that opened the door for Nacua, but I think that's going to be common. I mean, you'd much rather have Kupp. No, not much rather, but I mean, you'd rather have Kupp. He's going to get his almost every week. That's kind of a one-off this past week is what I mean by that. But studying this team, such a high percentage of their targets goes to 2 guys, probably more than any team in the league, and it should, and they're both worth it. So I am totally in on Nacua, yes.
And it's the perfect scenario for a rookie receiver who got baptized early and now has the trust of the team around him, including a quarterback who is a star maker for wide receivers in Matthew Stafford, who can get multiple players the ball and can feed 2 guys like Kupp and Nacua at the same time and make them fantasy relevant. And the Rams are bad enough to where they're going to be throwing from behind enough to where you're going to have a high target share as well. So I love Puka Nacua going the rest of the season this year. And why wouldn't you expect him to continue to be a good wide receiver? He is a good wide receiver going into.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, they have him blocked. I mean, I'm a believer. Yes.
But if you're in, say, a keeper situation where maybe Puka has even more value going forward and that he's proven this, maybe could you make a package to get a different star player for yourself? I would think about trading him in that scenario, but there's no more sell high on Puka to me.
No, I agree. I think he's proven every test. He excels with and without Kupp, and that's all I needed to see. The real conversation, this is more of a Locked On Dynasty conversation, is would you rather have him than Smith-Njigba, than Addison, than Zay Flowers? I mean, like, is he the best rookie receiver for Dynasty? Maybe.
Could Kupp be the one that ends up no longer a Ram at some point, and they go with Nakua?
I think he's Kupp's older than you think.
Yeah.
He came in the league old. Yeah.
He was like 25 when he came into the league. He was like one of those 5-year players. By the way, Puka Nakua, 58 catches, 752 receiving yards, and only 2 touchdowns. The touchdowns is really the only thing holding him back from absurd fantasy numbers and production right now. Still crazy what he's doing as a rookie through 7 games. The Rams, though, 3-4, Matt, and they are at the 4-2 Cowboys. Cowboys are home favored by 6.5.
I wish this was 7.5. I mean, this magic number of 7, just being under it, makes me a little wary. But I'm pretty impressed with the Rams, especially their offense. I think they have the quarterback advantage. I think they have the coaching advantage. So I'll take the points on the road.
The Rams have done this thing where they look competitive in the first half and then peter out in the second half. It feels like every single week. And I expect that
roster's not deep enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I expect that to happen again this week. If I could have the first half, give me the points with the Rams. For the full game, I'm going to take the Cowboys and give up those 6.5 points.
Okay. I'm torn on that. I wish it was 7.5.
How do you feel about the Cowboys right now? They're one of those teams where it's in the Buffalo Bills we'll get to and make picks tomorrow on them. There's one of those teams where they're really good, could beat anybody. They might be the team representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, but I'm not so confident that they're a slam dunk pick. Where still I'm kind of looking at the Cowboys with a side eye right now. It's like, okay, show me you're that powerhouse team that I think you are, but you've lost a couple of games to make you think maybe you're not, and not that many impressive wins on the resume.
I know. And I'm not the biggest McCarthy believer. It's not like, they're bye, they'll get it all fixed. I don't say I've overshot Dak, but Dak's let me down a little bit. I've always considered him like the 7th or 8th best quarterback. And I think he's been slightly disappointing. But and he doesn't elevate the team quite like those around him. Some of the other stars. He's a tier 2 guy, but probably the bottom of it.
No digs on defense, even though the defense is really good. I want to see Micah Parsons take over a few more games.
That's what I was about to say too. Yeah,
and I think the scheme that McCarthy's running has hurt Pollard, or maybe Pollard's just not the same after his ACL injury. What was that, 1.5 years ago now? 2 years? I can't remember when that injury actually happened, but he should be 100%. But he's not the guy that we expected coming into the year either. He's got half as many rushing yards as Nakua has receiving yards this year.
Wow. Yeah, I don't trust Dallas, and frankly, I think a lot of it starts with ownership. But we'll see. I mean, they could beat anybody, and they could win this game big. They definitely are capable.
Kind of talking myself into wanting to take the points on this one now that we start talking about it more. But I'm gonna stick with the Cowboys. Give up the 6.5. If it gets to 7, I'm giving up a full touchdown. Maybe not. How about the battle for New York? We've got the New York Jets at the New York Giants, and it is the Jets on the road, favored by 3. Not really on the road.
Yeah, on the road.
Team is getting 3. Is this a home dog situation for you in the Giants? Can you bet on the Giants right now with what you've seen this year?
I'm not certain who's going to start for the Giants. I'm not sure it matters. I might even prefer it if it was Taylor, to be honest with you.
I would 100% prefer it from the Giants' perspective if it's Taylor. So if I'm taking the Jets, I want Daniel Jones to start.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, the offense has been better with Taylor. I think that's undeniable. I also think the offense is coming around a little. Healthy Saquon. I think they figured out who their receivers are. Not that they're great. Waller had a decent game. Jets aren't going to beat anybody by a lot. So I just think 3 is too many. I mean, I think the Jets are higher in the power ranks, but there's one style the Jets can play, and it usually doesn't lead to big wins.
I'm not going to give them a bump for where this game is being played, and I think the Jets are better. And really, the sliding scale, because the Jets are better in almost every facet right now. You just wonder what they're going to get at quarterback, but I'm not super sure about what the Giants are going to get at quarterback anyway. Can Zach Wilson, after a bye right now, had some time to sit, prepare, get ready for this one? I'm going to go with the Jets and give up the points because I think they're better, and hope that Zach Wilson stays above the meridian. And he's kind of been in a better spot than we've seen him in the first couple of years of his career this year, and let those playmakers, Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, cook around him and take the pressure off of him. Get the ball out to your playmakers. Some promising developments for the young quarterback there in New York. Can he keep his head above water? I'm going to go ahead and give up 3 points against a bad team and say he can this week.
Okay.
Next, we've got, is this a potential playoff preview? We've got the Jaguars and Steelers.
Wow.
If the season ended today, they would both be in the playoffs and be very highly seeded, especially versus what we thought to start the year with these teams losing some games early on. We got a rookie showdown at quarterback. We got Stroud versus Young, and is this the end for Derrick Henry in Tennessee? Next. Today's episode of Peacock and Williamson brought to you by DoorDash. And man, I associate football with food so much. And you can get a very special offer and a little percentage off with your DoorDash order, your first DoorDash order. Stick around, code locked on or locked23, locked23. Remember that code, because whenever I'm sitting down to watch football, especially a primetime game, right? Getting ready for a Monday nighter, or it's Sunday morning for us on the West Coast, maybe Sunday afternoon. You don't want to cook. You don't want to go to the store. You want to have that food come to you. You can get the groceries come to you as well by DoorDash and get grocery service. But how about the chicken wings? Or maybe you want a burger and fries. Did the game just go to timeout and you get that little rumbling and you're like, you know what? It's time to change the vibe here and get chips and nachos and dip and whatever it is that you like to eat during a football game. You can find it. All your favorite restaurants and stores, from retail to grocery, are on the app, so you can shop everything you need and get game day ready whenever you want it at DoorDash. So get 50% off up to $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order with DoorDash when you download the DoorDash app and enter code LOCKED23. Subject to change, terms apply. Don't forget, use code LOCKED23 for 50% off up to $10 value on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and spend $15 or more. Subject to change, terms apply. Here we go. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is the road Jags favored by 2.5. Do you feel strong about young Kenny Pickett to take those home dog points, Matt? And I know you've looked a lot into this football game.
Yeah, and it's going to have to be a Pickett game. I mean, the Jags front is very physical. Teams are just not even running against them anymore. So if you can win through the air, you got a chance against Jacksonville, who pressure quarterbacks. They don't sack them. I am going to take the points, but I'm going to take the Jags to win. Steelers either win close games or get beat bad. So they could get beat bad in this one and come back to earth. It's certainly possible. I like what Lawrence is doing a lot, but I think they keep it very close at home. I'll take the 2.5 and Jags win.
We had a question from a listener this week. Could you, on any planet, Matt, have expected after the beginning of the season, after the first few weeks, after week 1, 49ers Steelers, that going into week number 8, the Steelers and the 49ers would have the same amount of losses?
Wow, I hadn't thought of that, but I don't think they're on the same tier, though.
No, I don't think so either. But stock is up. What's the big difference right now with the Steelers winning some games at 4-2 after they looked awful to start the year? Is it all just quarterback play?
No, some of it's luck. I mean, they have grinded out wins. If you check my Twitter timeline, I think it says it all. You know that I'm a big – they're +6 in turnover differential. They're +3 in field goal made differential, +3 in fourth down conversion differential, all of which I consider turnover. So they're really, like, in my mind, +12 in turnover stuff, and they win the close ones, you know.
We've got the Atlanta Falcons at the Tennessee Titans. Falcons favored by 2.5 points on the road at the Titans. And this is a really interesting week for the Tennessee Titans, I think. And to be honest with you, if things are going to go the way it looks like they're going, I think they're doing it right now. I don't know if it's fire sale mode necessarily for the Titans, but they've got to figure some things out at quarterback. And am I reading this report wrong, Matt, that maybe we might see both rookie Will Levis and second-year quarterback Malik Willis at quarterback for Tennessee this week?
That's what I think I've been seeing. It's been a little vague that it sounds like it'll be Levis, but we might see some Willis. And I thought that might be a package here and there for his athleticism, that sort of thing. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a Titan or two that's currently on the roster that isn't by kickoff. And We'll see. I just think that Atlanta's in a better place. I think Atlanta's style of play travels well. Bijan should be fine and all that good stuff. I'm going to lay the points here on the road.
All right, a few things here, especially with those running backs. And you dropped a little nugget on us yesterday that you're hearing that Derrick Henry might be traded. This could be the end. This could be the last game for Derrick Henry in Tennessee with the Titans if he's moved to Baltimore or potentially wherever by Tuesday in the NFL trade deadline. It'd probably be a smart move long term for the Titans to do that. Figure out who their young quarterback is, and amazing run for Derrick Henry. Could be a game changer for another team.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, this stage of his career, he might not be what he used to be, but he would be a great addition to a Ravens type team. Chiefs, Bills, who knows? Some contender, and don't just lean on him entirely. I like it a lot, but I also like Atlanta's defense. I wanted to mention that too. I think their defense will be tough on the young quarterback.
Give me. I don't even like the line here. Just give me the under in this game. It's only 36, and I'd by far, or not by far. The Jets Giants we're going to get, or that we just talked about, is 36.5, but it's still lower than that one even. I'm not confident either one of these teams putting up numbers. The fact that it might be, a first time starter in Will Levis potentially. It's not like Malik Willis is going to be lighting up the scoreboard either. And who knows, maybe they even pull Derrick Henry early because they're trying to save him because they've got trades in the works and don't want him to get hurt right before that happens. I think you have to take the Falcons here and give up just the 2.5 points. Falcons by a field goal at least.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
We've got next Texans at Panthers, a showdown of rookie quarterbacks. We got Eagles at Commanders. We've got Bucks and Bills on Thursday night. I've been impressed, Matt, with the Houston Texans and what they've done this year. Obviously, I didn't expect them to be 3-3 and 500. I thought they'd be closer to what the Panthers are doing. Coming off a bye week, 0-6. Now, the Panthers have had some time to prepare because they've been on a bye, and usually it's probably a big, deep breath for a rookie quarterback whose head might be spinning in his first action in the NFL to have a bye week and prepare for the Texans. CJ Stroud had a bye as well. Both these teams were on bye last week, and so they get a chance to prepare. They get a chance to take a deep breath after a whirlwind of a rookie season in the first 6 weeks. We got the 3-3 Texans at the 0-6 Panthers. The road Texans favored by 3.
I do think early buys, and of course buys in general, are really good for rookie starting quarterbacks. And I'm sure that both these guys are exhaling a little bit. And wow, that's what the league's all about. Okay, and now I have a better understanding. I like Houston here. I thought this line would be like 6. And I don't even think the Texans are great, but I just think they're so much further along developmentally than the Panthers. I think their quarterback's better. Their weapons are better. Defense is probably better at this point. And I know they're on the road, but I don't think this is a big enough number.
If it wasn't for what Puka Nacua is doing with the Rams, CJ Stroud would be a runaway rookie of the year. And since he's a quarterback, he might still be rookie of the year right now. 1,660 passing yards, 9 touchdowns to 1 interception. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable what he's doing right now. D'Amico Ryans has the defense playing well. They got a lot of young players, a lot of developing happened, but just sound schemes on both sides of the ball. I've just been really impressed with what they're doing. Talent-wise, I don't think they're that much better than the Carolina Panthers, though. So I don't really like giving up points for a team like the Texans, but they're just playing so much better than the Panthers are until I see signs of life from the Panthers. And the Panthers feel like a team that might start. I mean, we talked about the Titans selling off players. The Panthers might all of a sudden sell, 4 starters after this game, right? And Bryce Young's got, he's got a plus touchdown to interception ratio, which is good. 6 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and I have seen some decent play from him. Overall, if you look at what Bryce Young is doing, 63% completion and 6 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. As far as rookie quarterbacks go, he's not playing terrible or anything like that. No. He's just not getting a lot of help from the rest of the team around him, and really the defense has been disappointing for the Panthers so far.
Yeah, it has, and I think they're just way in over their head, and they don't have a lot of weapons, and the defense is, like you said, I thought it'd be able to carry the team more. They're probably the worst team in the league.
So we're giving up 3 and taking those road Texans. All right.
Yep.
Next, Eagles, Commanders, and the Thursday nighter. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Buffalo Bills. Today's episode of Peacock and Williamson is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And now's the time to snap into action at FanDuel. Get some of these tasty October Week 8 lines, and you can bet on whatever you want on the app that's so easy to use with FanDuel. Love the web interface as well. Find all the bets you want on all the sports you want, including NFL spreads, player props, over-unders. Build your own parlays at FanDuel. And right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Doesn't matter what happens on that first $5 bet. You still get $200 more to play with and get involved with all those spreads and props and draft futures, trade futures. Actually, you can bet on the next team for Derrick Henry at FanDuel. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get going. Kick off that action for yourself this football season, NBA season getting going. I love October, by the way. Best month of the year, October, in my opinion. Weather's turning. Love it. I like the cool weather. You got World Series. You got NFL in midseason form. You get the NHL and NBA season starting. Fantastic. Best holiday of the year, by the way. Halloween, too, in my opinion. FanDuel.com/lockedon. Now's the time in October. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Don't be unprepared. That's where Jace Medical and the Jace case comes in. JaceMedical.com, promo code locked on. You get $20 off a Jace case. What are we talking about with the Jace case? Well, the Jace case is a personalized emergency medication kit that contains 5 essential antibiotics that treat the most common and deadly bacterial infections. I mean, we've been through pandemics, right? There are hurricanes in certain parts of the countries, tornadoes. We've had fires in Hawaii. You might just be on vacation with your family, somewhere where there's no cell service, and your unique family needs, you can be taken care of and not worry about those emergency situations. You customize your Jace case and add additional life-saving medications to the 5 essential antibiotics that come in the Jace case, and make sure you get the medications that best fit you and your family's unique needs. Go to jacemedical.com and enter code locked on at checkout for a $20 discount on your Jace case. You can buy a gift card for family or loved ones as well at jacemedical.com so they can get a Jace case of their own. Again, $20 discount on your order. That's promo code locked on at Jace, Jase medical.com. Here we go. We got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders, and those road Eagles favored by 6.5 at Washington. Is that enough points to scare you off? What team right now is the #1 seed in the NFC? Philadelphia Eagles, man.
I think this is my favorite bet of the 6-pack. I like the Eagles to win this thing by 14. I mean, Washington has that great defensive front and really bad back 7, but I think that gets neutralized with the Eagles' O-line. The way A.J. Brown and those guys are playing, I mean, I think they can throw at ease against Washington, and the Eagles are going to run. But the biggest thing is Sam Howell might get sacked 15 times in this game, 20 times in this game. Like the way he's taking sacks and that pass rush, that's a terrible combination for Washington.
Yeah, seeing Washington last week, and maybe it's too much recency bias with the way the Eagles played against the Dolphins, but I as well, and usually I like a home dog bet, but there's not a lot of ways I'm looking at this game thinking that that Washington is going to beat the Eagles, and you want to at least think when you're betting on those home dogs that at least they could win straight up potentially, and I don't see that, and the Eagles could play even better than they have recently, and you mentioned like. I don't see the Eagles. I like their defensive front. The Washington, I like their defensive front, but there's frustration. Did you see the interview with Jonathan Allen this week? And he was a bit. So it's like either they're going to fold because they're so frustrated, or they're going to turn this thing around. And maybe that's kind of the hope, is they're so mad and they're really fired up, and this is their Super Bowl to go beat a team that's in their division and that they're familiar with. But I don't know how they're going to cover those guys. And you add Kevin Byard now to the situation. We'll see if I'm not sure. I haven't seen information on whether he'll start already, but they made that trade early in the week. He'll get some practices in for sure. So I like just where the Eagles' heads are at versus where the Washington's heads are at, and maybe they can rally this week and keep this one close. But it's really hard for me to not look at this game and think, man, I like the Eagles by a lot.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be close.
Especially since, it's just a touchdown. Eagles by a touchdown. That's not even crazy. And that's what and that wins you this bet at 6.5. So that's why I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
How about the Thursday nighter? Who the heck are the Buffalo Bills, and how can you bet on them to win by 8.5 points over any team? Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been decent this year.
Yeah, and I think that's too big a line as well. I mean, I think Buffalo wins at home. I have no concerns really about the Bills' offense, but I have great concerns about their defense. And Tampa has been pretty solid on both sides of the ball. Baker's fine. Evans is a problem. I think their defense has been better than people realize. So can they keep this thing to a touchdown or less? I tend to think so on a super short week.
I'm thinking two separate things here. One is that the Bills have been Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and you don't know which team is going to show up, and they've just had a weird season. They're 4-3 right now, and they're playing against the Bucs, who are 3-3 team, and are pretty good. I don't know if I want to say they're good. They might win the division. They might not make the playoffs. I have no idea what the Buccaneers are going to be. I'm not any more confident about what the Bucs are than what the Bills are right now, and the Bills are a better team. But short week. 8.5 points is a lot of points we've just seen some really ugly games on Thursday, and a lot can happen on these weird short game weeks. So for that reason, I'm definitely going to take the points here for the Buccaneers and still not be shocked if you would lose that bet and the Buffalo Bills win by a lot. So I probably wouldn't bet on this game, but the other side of me thinks, okay, well, last week was the one step back, and the Bills always go 2 step forward, 1 step back. So this is probably the 2 step forward week, right? So they probably are going to blow up the Buccaneers. So that's why I hate this game. It is the Thursday nighter, and anything can happen. I kind of throw my hands up in the air and say, I have no idea what to expect on a Thursday night period. And with either one of these two teams, the way the season's going, the Bills should be favored, but I'm going to take the points here because of just the scoreliness of Thursday nights and both of these teams.
Yeah, I think you said it better than I did. I mean, we said it was 8.5, right? I mean, that's a pretty chunky number for, not really practicing for one another, not being super familiar with one another. Yeah, the Bills could drop 40 on anybody. I mean, that's possible, but I tend to think points will prevail here. Getting 8.5.
Those are our 6-pack of favorite picks and favorite games to cover here, plus that Thursday nighter for week number 8. We're going to make the picks of all the rest of those games on Friday. Appreciate everybody making Peacock and Williamson in the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen every single day. Matt and I back tomorrow right here, Peacock and Williamson.